Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to our YouTube channel and welcome to this video. So this is part 4 of our PHP REST API tutorial, and in this video we're going to continue working on with our project, specifically our read.php file. So let's open up our PHP tag in here, and since it is a PHP REST API, we're going to allow HTTP request here. So we're going to add headers here, so that will be header, and then inside we need to define access control and then allow origin and then colon and then of course the asterisk, which means we're just allowing anyone without the problem with authentication or OAuth or something like that. And then also we need to specify the content type here, so that's content and then type colon. So this will be the MIME type is application/JSON format. Okay, so in here we need to include the initialize PHP file. So that's our read.php file is inside the API directory. So we need to back or up one directory. So that's period and then slash, and of course our initialize core and then initialize that PHP. So what we're doing is that we're just calling the initialize.php file, which contains all the constant that we have defined, the directory separator, the site root, the include path, and the core path. And of course it will load the config file, so which is our database connection. So we already have the DB connection here, so we can just use it in our read.php file. So this is initializing our API. So as I've said, this include the config of our database, the connection, and also all the files that we have initialized in our initialize.php. So for example, the post, we require once the post.php file, which is the class post, that includes all the necessary properties for this particular class. So in here we need to instantiate the post class, so that will be instantiate post. So will be post and then new post, and then of course because we specify that our construct function takes in a DB connection, so that will be post equals new post, and then of course our DB connection. So if you're wondering where is this DB connection or this DB variable, it is in our config.php file. So as you can see here, we have defined the DB or the database connection. So next is to query the actual blog post. So blog post query. So we're going to do that by using the post object and then by using the read function. So the read function, we have defined it in our post.php file, which is our class post. So read, and then of course we're going to get the row count, so that will be num, and then result, and then row count. And we're going to check if num is greater than 0, so that will be post array, or array, and then we're just going to initialize it as an empty array. So post r, and then we're going to have this data equals array. Okay, and then we're just going to add the else statement here. And in here, we're just going to iterate the row equals the result, and then we're going to fetch the PDO associative array. So fetch ASOC, and then curly braces, and then we're just going to say here extract the row. Okay, so in here we're going to say post item equals array, and then inside this particular array we're going to define the attributes that we want to return for this particular post. So ID, and then the title of our post, so title. Okay, and then body of our post also, so HTML entity decode the body of our post, and then of course the author of the post. Okay, author, and also the category ID. Okay, so category ID, and the last one will be the category name. So category underscore name, and category underscore name. And of course after that one, we have, instead of using the comma, we use the semicolon. So there you go. So in here, after the iteration, or before the iteration closes, we need to push the data into our array. So array push the array, which is post array, and then data, and of course we're going to push the post item. And then after that one, after the iteration of the records, we're just going to push to data. Okay, so, or I mean, we're trying to convert to JSON and then output. So echo, and then we're going to use the PHP function JSON underscore encode, and our post array. There you go. And if the number, or the number of count, or the number of result is less than 0, so we just need also to define a message here. So that will be echo, and then JSON encode, and message is, we just set this to no post found. Okay, echo JSON, and we need to add semicolon at the end of the line. So echo JSON, of course we need also to define that it should be inside the array. Okay, so there you go. And in this part right here, we're going to create our database and add the tables, and of course the records that we're going to read from our API. So let's go to our PHP My Admin, and in here let's just create a new database. That will be PHP REST. Okay, as you can remember, that's the name of our database that we have defined in our config.php file. And also we're going to add here a table, or a couple of tables here, so categories, and there will be 3 columns or 3 attributes for this particular table. So that will be ID, and the length is 11 auto increment, and there will be name and varchar, which is 255 is the length, and created at, and this should be a date time. Where is it? Date time. And yeah, I think that's it, and then save. So we have now a table categories, and also we need to add a post table. So that will be post, and ID, length is 11 auto increment, and of course we have the category ID. So this will be int 11, and then we have title, so varchar 255, and the body also will be text, and then we add 2 more for our author of our post, which will be varchar 255 also, and of course the created at, and this will be a date time. There you go, and then save. So we now have 2 tables in our database. So in categories, we need to insert some values here. So the first one will be technology, and then created at, will be the date today, so that will be 31, and the hour is 10. Okay, so the second one will be gaming, and the date the same, and the hour is 10. Okay, so go, and let's just add another categories of our post. So auto, and then the date. If you want, I can place, or I can add the database in the description. You can just download it and import it in your PHP My Admin. So it will save you a lot of time instead of making all this unnecessary part of creating the database. Okay, so you always have the option to download the database coming from the description of this particular video. So in the next video, we're going to continue working on with our project and also insert some data in here for our post table. So see you in the next video. Thanks.